Hi, and welcome to Back to the Balcony for our second big Christmas episode. This time we are going to talk about the Muppets Christmas Carol. Talk about the other side of the coin, because last time we talked about the original 1951 version with Alistair Sim. Now, we did this one with Christine Kinahan and Chris Jarvie, who are married, and they both like this movie, and they are pretty forgiving of some things that I wasn't that crazy about. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I think you're going to really enjoy this one as well. It's a great festive episode. And by the way, since this is the last one we're releasing before Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for watching this, and please subscribe.
This is my Poppy's podcast. He likes to talk about movies from the 20th century. That's like a million years ago. He knows a lot, but his friends must know even more, because they're always telling him he's wrong. But he's funny and interesting and a good Poppy, even if he doesn't know what a spoiler is. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to our second Christmas episode this month of Back to the Balcony, the podcast about movies and culture from a classic century. I'm your host, Jimmy England, and I'm here with Phil, my engineer, and Chris Jarvie and his wife, Christine Kinahan, to talk about 1992's The Muppet Christmas Carol. Good to have you both back again. We had you doing Wizard of Oz and Meet Me in St. Louis. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was a good one.
It was, yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'll argue that Wizard of Oz is a Christmas movie too.
Technically, no, but I get you. And I think we should jump into the question that's on everybody's mind right now. If Phil were a Muppet, which one would he be?
Oh, I'm thinking the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah.
You know, the big lovable guy?
I was actually pushing for Beaker.
Well, who would Jim be, though?
Oh, that's not fair. Give me a second.
I have control of the editing. You really want to be careful in this time. This is so appropriate, because the last episode we did what's considered the benchmark adaptation of the Dickens novel, 1951's A Christmas Carol. We did that one with Ryan Sim, who's a relation of the star Alistair Sim. What about the two of you? Are either one of you related to either Gonzo or Rizzo?
I mean, I haven't gone that deep into my family tree, but I don't think so.
Which one's Irish?
Had you ever seen anything of the Muppets before the first time you saw this movie? Were you brought up on the Muppets?
I watched this as a kid. This might have been one of the first Muppet films I saw, but obviously Sesame Street, if you're going to count that.
We don't.
Okay, then no. But yeah, the Muppets, it was one of those things. The Muppet Show in the early 90s was a big hit.
Yeah, I think by virtue of just being born in the 80s, we were kind of brought up with the Muppets.
Yeah, reruns on the TV show. It went on for a long time.
Muppets Take Manhattan, Jim.
Oh, the Muppets Take Manhattan was so good. I watched that so often as a kid.
Well, it's a funny thing. Over time, a comedian develops a certain distinctive voice. Is that true of the Muppets as well? Do you think?
I think they had a voice. Kermit definitely.
No, I meant beyond the physicality of how the voice sounds, but
No, I agree. Like you're thinking like characteristics and a style.
Yeah.
Kermit definitely had a style. I'd say he was probably the first one to get one.
What about the rest of the Muppets? Christine, what do you think? If you think of the Muppets, is it inevitably going to be a certain way? You introduce a new Muppet, they're going to behave and speak in a particularly Muppety way?
I mean, I think there's definitely tones and characteristics that are very Muppety and not very human, and they all have a distinct style.
Yeah, I'd say like variations on a theme would be a good way of putting it.
Okay, let's put it in maybe a different light. Is it a bunch of individual voices, or is it an ensemble voice?
Ooh.
How do you like that one?
I would say yes, with your main character exceptions. Kermit, Fozzie, Miss Piggy, but the rest, yes.
How about you, Phil? Do you have much Muppet experience?
Back when I was in New Brunswick, I went to go see Muppets Take Manhattan, and that was probably the only one. And I'm, of course, watching it on regular TV, right? Like the
TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. Yeah.
Did you not watch the original movie?
The original...
The first Muppets film?
I don't think so.
It might be one of the best movies.
Really?
It's so... The amount of cameos and the uniqueness of the film.
Yeah, but You know what? This is the argument I might make for the Muppet movies, is that once you have watched a Muppet movie, they're always the same Muppet movie.
That's fair. I would say that the Muppets were the first to latch onto, this is a kid's film with adult jokes that you don't have to worry the kid will get.
Exactly. Yeah.
I could see that.
I think they were the first ones to do it.
Right.
But they're also just giving people what they want. Like once they were a success, they're just using that formula to give people what they want, no?
It is formulaic, yeah.
That's been something of a mixed blessing. This movie is one of the crown jewels of the Muppet movie oeuvre, but there have only ever been 10 movie releases, and a lot of them didn't do well. In fact, the last Muppet movie with a theatrical release was Muppets Most Wanted in 2014, and it's not just the movies. They've struggled to recapture the magic on TV with some awful and uninspiring shows, not least of the one was the Office knockoff.
I don't even remember
They
that.
did an Office knockoff?
They did where
Now I got to see that.
Wow. Yeah, I was completely unaware of that.
Oh, you're kidding me. No, it was terrible. Miss Piggy and Kermit had split. It's supposed to be
No.
part of the thing. Yeah, and it didn't really. It didn't.
I
last.
refuse to believe that Kermit and Miss Piggy could split. No, they're forever.
Boy, you like people to commit, don't you?
That's confident building in our marriage.
What do you think? Are the Muppets missing something? Is there something they need to do to rebuild their mojo?
Are you trying to say that time's kind of past them?
They're almost a niche entertainment.
I think they are what they are, and I think a lot of it is people of our age having kids and introducing their kids to the older style of Muppets. But I think it's the year 2025, and introducing any new character is going to have backlash because you're either pandering too much or you're not pandering enough.
We've had that every time we have to replace Phil. It's like,
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
as good as the original,
Nobody's
just
as
like the
good as-
Muppets.
You got it. You got it. All right, let's try this. I'm going to be asking other Muppet-related questions, but this is one further on. But since we're in this place now, I think it's time to bring it up. Are we too inundated with Muppets? And I'm going to say to this movie, are there too many Muppets in this movie?
No.
There could be never too many Muppets, Jim.
Yeah, never too many Muppets. No, I think it was just the right amount. And just seeing those little Muppety like sheep or chickens in the background, it cracks me up. Like,
Okay, let's try it a little different. Have either one of you seen Muppet Mayhem?
Yes.
yes, yep.
That was one of the best Muppet things I have seen in a long time. And the one thing about it is that they kept it to a minimum of Muppets, and they didn't trot out Fozzie Bear and Bert and Ernie or all the other classic characters.
That's
they
true.
stuck it to the Electric Mayhem.
Yep.
And that kept that thing working.
Yep.
And I think what's happened with the Muppets going forward is that everything they do, whether it's Muppet Treasure Island or Muppets, whatever, it's always going to have a jillion Muppets in it, and the real people are just like ancillary characters who come in. Like you said, Chris, about being cameos in that original movie.
Yeah. The original movie, for the most part, there's few Muppets. You know, a lot of it is
the core
just
Muppets.
It's the core ones. It's Kermit, it's Fozzie, and there's a Muppet that has a cameo in Big Bird, trying to find his way to New York.
Yes,
You
yep.
know, I get what you're saying about this one, that there were too many, but at the same point, most people will argue this is the best one. A lot of people will say this is the best Muppets movie, but that also could come down to Michael Caine was fantastic.
He was great in
Yeah,
this.
Absolutely fantastic. You got to give him credit. And the story was already a hit story.
Yeah, I think that plays a lot
That
into
has
it.
to, you have to take that into account.
Yeah.
I will, but I'm going to ask you some other questions. Let's just jump into this and see who thought Charles Dickens and a bunch of puppets with ping pong eyes would be a good matchup. It was directed by Brian Henson. He was a first-time director. Jim Henson was gone by this time. The writer was Jerry Jewell, a longtime writer for The Muppet Show and a primary architect of the Muppet voice from the book by Charles Dickens. And the cast included Michael Caine, and there are no more humans of note, and the puppeteers do so many characters and voices. I'm just going to list a few of the main ones. Dave Getz, Steve Whitmire, Jerry Nelson, Frank Oz, and David Rudman. The estimated budget was $12 million. The estimated box office worldwide was $33 million. Not a bad return. Actually, a very respectable return. But I wonder if the value of movies like this isn't their ability to make money right away, but their knack of burrowing into our collective consciousness to become perennial favorites.
It is that favorite. Its success, not just box office, but it had one of the highest DVD sales of a re-release for Disney.
Right.
It also, to this day, every November and December, it's in the top 10 of films for Disney Plus right now. People love it and go back to it still.
It's a classic that we all just rewatch.
I'm just curious. Do you think it gets watched more than the original
Yes.
1951 Alistair Sim Christmas Carol?
Yes.
Yes. Now it would, because this is a version that we were brought up on.
You're right. But I wonder if part of it isn't that it's, the other one is a little dark and depressing with a very,
Also
noble-
that, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This one is, you put the kids in front of this one. Is the movie scary at all for kids?
I think it would definitely have parts that would scare kids. I mean, Michael...
Ghosts are always scary.
The ghosts are scary. Michael Caine plays the first, I'm going to say, third of the film.
Right?
Michael Caine is just terrifying as Scrooge. He might be one of the best Scrooges. You have to say top 3.
I haven't seen enough Scrooges to be able to make a comparison. I found him, again, the gold standard is Alistair Sim from
course.
Christmas Carol. And what the difference between the two that I found is that Alistair Sim genuinely was indifferent to people. And it made him so cold, where Caine tended to be sarcastic. I don't know what hurt the two of them, but it was two different things.
Could you play a more serious version of the character in what is supposed to be a comedy?
Okay, you may have hit the Achilles heel of my argument here. I may not have the proper response for that. Yeah, I suppose you're right, but along the way, I had a lot of trouble with his justifications for the way he responded to things. And
My issue with Michael Caine in this film, and this is very, very
piddly,
picky,
right?
I think unlike the Alistair Sim version,
Right.
Michael Caine felt like he just turned a positive way too fast. It didn't take much of the second or third ghost to convince him. By the time this ghost of Christmas Present was around, he was already cracking jokes and happy.
But they also cut out a lot of that really sad stuff for the sake of the happy movie. So they kind of brushed past that and just alluded to it as opposed to showing you.
Well, did you miss any of that? Because, clearly they had to do that for two reasons. One is they had to let the Muppets have their funny ways, and then they had to make the way for songs.
Yes.
Right.
It's supposed to be lighter too, right? It's not.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the Christmas Carol that you can show your kids.
That's
Yeah.
right.
This is designed to be somebody's first version of the Christmas Carol.
Do you think this is affecting as the original Christmas Carol at all?
Yeah.
Your kids are going to look at it and then go, well, I got to be a nice person, or are they going to go, wow, that was a funny movie with the Muppets?
Hopefully both.
Yeah, you can get both.
Did you look at it that way, Jim? When you first saw A Christmas Carol, you got from that you had to be a nice person?
The original?
Yeah, you should have seen the jerk I was prior to that movie. Oh, you would have hated me. You guys wouldn't have showed up today if you saw me prior to then. But then I saw this movie and I had a completely big change of heart.
Well, if anything, it's a nice segue. If you get this happy little version first and you have like a setup to go watch the older version, perhaps as an older person, and get some more context,
Yeah.
and then the Muppet movie will make more sense.
At what age would you show your grandkids the original Christmas Carol?
That is a good question. Again, that's unusual. 2 in a row. Way to go, Chris. I'm not sure. It's very difficult today to show kids a black and white movie, number one.
Agreed.
Even though it's one of the great black and white movies, the use of black and white enhances that particular story. This is so bright and cheerful that it's, halfway home with that. But I don't think I'd show it to a 4 or 5-year-old. I don't think they could grasp it. I think you'd lose the audience, shall we say. I think when they're up around 10-ish.
I would say that would be around, I'd say 10 to teenage,
But
early
mostly
teens.
because they would be bored, because it does require you to pay attention to
Yeah, but-
how they're speaking and
Yeah.
everything like that.
You
But
can't show a kid under 10 anything that's more than 20 minutes and not colorful and poppy.
If you can't compress it to like a 2-minute TikTok reel, then it might...
Yeah, you can't show them. So you're right. You almost have to be of age where you can appreciate the film for the film.
because one of the things I'm discovering in doing some of our other movies that Phil and I have done with other people is the number of people who watched horror movies that I cringed at watching in my 70s had already seen them by the time they were 7.
Yeah.
That's not an uncommon phenomenon.
Younger people watching horror movies?
Yeah, Bob Kerr, we used to watch them. We talked to him.
Who else was
Ryan
that?
Sim, what caught him when he was younger.
I
Yeah.
watched the Lethal Weapon films when I was like 6.
Yeah, but that's a little different than Texas Chainsaw
I don't know.
Massacre.
That's pretty that's intense.
No,
that's
we-
psychological.
We had the early internet where we could just see videos of anything. that ruined us before horror movies did.
I can't speak for you, but I was definitely raised of the generation of, okay, watch it, but if you have questions, go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
My parents would let me watch films like that, but then it wasn't just, you can watch action films and da-da-da. They'd be like, you realize what's wrong with this? And
Why does that man's pee-pee have a...
yeah.
I don't know what you watch, but it's an unusual philosophy.
Why
I'll
does
say
that
that.
police officer just kill people instead? Well, because he's not good at his job.
I'm not going to ask you for a synopsis of this movie because I think the story is too well known. I know this is going to disappoint Phil, who just lives for I
it's
guess
all
to make
good.
a synopsis. But does it capture the heart of the movie or the story, or is it too interested in making us laugh?
I think it does. I think it captures all the main points while leaving the sadder parts behind. Yes, it is trying to make us laugh, and it works.
Is there anything in that film that's more depressing than when Tiny Tim is gone? Because that's about the only emotional moment that I found in that whole movie.
Or when they're talking about how brave Tim was at church in the early part of the film. That was a tearjerker. When Kermit's telling Miss Piggy about how brave he was and wanted to show everybody that if he could come, they could be happy too. That was a tear-jerking moment. The
Well-
scene that they deleted where Scrooge's love of his life leaves him.
Okay, let's just stop and let's talk about that scene. I don't know if everybody has seen, there's two different versions of this movie. One has the scene where we see how Scrooge and Bella, when they were younger, broke up. And she sings a song, which I found very touching. That was very strong emotionally, and it was because it was two human beings and it was not Muppets speaking. Would you agree with that? Am I right on that, or do you see it different ways? I see Christine agreeing with me
Yeah,
with a
no,
nod.
I agree. And like in the scene, he's just, Scrooge is just standing there behind her crying. But it was boring. Like maybe because of the lack of Muppets, but I see why they cut that song, and I say that as a fan and a lover of musical theater. It kind of almost didn't fit the bill. And like I understand that it's staying true to the original story, but I get why it's a bonus feature and you can watch it if you so choose to.
What about you, Chris? Did you agree with that, her reasoning?
That's pretty dead on. It didn't have the Muppets. It didn't fit the theme. It was more so a tie-in to the original in a musical version.
When you watch the edited version with that scene out, you don't really understand on the basis of the brief thing that you saw why he suddenly got emotional
We
about
both
it.
said
Yes.
that yesterday when we
As
watched
soon as you
this.
see that scene, all of a sudden the way he reacted
makes
makes,
sense.
more sense.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
does. It does help the character development. It definitely does. And what I'm curious about is why was it cut? Because it couldn't have been for time, because it was 90 seconds.
They just felt that it slowed the movie down too much. Like I think Christine hit the nail on the head there. Yet it slowed it down because you had to let that emotional moment develop to me,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's important to know the context without having seen the scene, almost.
right?
It needed more Muppets.
Is that like the more cowbells?
Yeah, exactly. This scene needs more Muppets.
Christopher Walken's going to come in.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of the problems with this. Is like caring because these are Muppets. Like, did anybody really care about how Kermit and the rats were treated by Scrooge when you saw that scene?
Only they cared. And
That was good enough for you?
no, that's terrible. But I mean, it's not like unions and labor conditions were a thing back then. They were being forced to work on Christmas Day. And all they wanted was some more coal to stay warm.
To stay warm.
Keep working on Christmas Day. Terrific.
I go back to the whole, would kids care about union rights? It's still a kids movie. It's the Muppets. This isn't there to win Oscars
Yeah,
for story writing.
We're not
It's-
teaching 4-year-olds about organized labor.
You see, son, the unions came in and made a big difference to the rats.
I mean, it's a good segue to teach your kids about unions, I suppose. But
Without the unions, the Mises would have no cheeses.
But the bit after was pretty funny, though. Like, tropical.
yes.
And then all the rats carrying the paper.
Yeah.
I think that's your classic Muppets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it slapstick, but it's your classic Muppets humor.
Well, I think you're right, and that's kind of the problem with this movie to some degree, and maybe because of how it's relied on that subsequently in everything that they do. So what you get is, like we've talked about, there's a formula. There is, but that formula now has gotten very, very old.
Well, the Muppets are just like a giant improv team. It's just a bunch of yes-anding.
And one of the other key things...
Now, we should explain, yes and is actually key in improv so that you give the other person an opening to continue whatever the sequence is.
One of the key things to remember in this film is this is also the first Muppets film without Jim Henson. This was the first one that he didn't have any input in.
Do you feel that it's different from the other Muppet films as a result? How so?
I would say that they stuck to his go-to jokes and kind of his humor.
Right.
But you could tell that they were kind of trying new stuff.
Was Brian the son? Is he
Yes.
Jim
Yes,
Henson's
he is.
son? Okay.
Yes.
And this, by the way, was the very first movie that he ever directed. Michael Caine did not know that
Oh,
until
wow.
he got into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did Michael Caine have an issue with it later? Or
No, he was fine with it. He told Brian Henson that he was going to do it as if it was the Royal Shakespeare Company, which is the reason why you get his interpretation of Scrooge.
Yep.
He doesn't try and play to the Muppets.
But it's perfect.
Well, how does
Yeah.
that? I'm going to ask you how that. You agree with that, Phil? It's perfect.
Well, I think Michael Caine does a great job. I think Chris is right. He's maybe one of the best Scrooges of all time.
This is like there's two different movies going on.
Yeah,
Yes.
fair enough.
Yes.
Fair
There's
enough.
this movie
Yeah.
and there's the Muppet movie. Does
Sure.
he,
Yep.
does
Yeah,
he
yeah.
ever? Are they on par? Does he handle himself well? Do the Muppets overpower him to some degree?
I almost want to see Michael Caine do a Shakespearean version of A Christmas Carol without the Muppets.
Well, it's interesting because I was reading. I did not know this. Patrick Stewart did a one-man show of A Christmas Carol,
Oh, did
He
he
did
really?
it in
Oh, wow.
Stratford.
and it was apparently very successful. And
That's awesome.
but it brings to mind what another critic had said, that if you're doing A Christmas Carol, the only thing that matters is if you've got a strong Scrooge.
Yeah.
And you're kind of backing that up, aren't you? You're saying that he's a strong Scrooge.
Oh,
and it's-
absolutely.
He is.
Yeah, he's an anchor.
Yeah. You don't agree, Jim?
No. I tend to agree with you, but I never felt he was identifying with the Muppets as people.
Well, here's the thing. Is there any other Muppets movie where a human being takes the lead?
Muppets movie where a human being takes the lead? No, it's usually a Kermit and Miss Piggy and the
Right.
gang.
Right. This is the only one, really, that's successful. There's been bad ones.
I'll tell you why, and I think I can do this. I have rewatched the complete Muppet Show, the original one, and it doesn't stand up as well as it did the first time around when it's fresh and it's original. Because again, it's that
Yes.
feeling I've seen this before.
Yep.
But what jumped out at me is how nobody, some people worse than other, went on that show and could relate to those Muppets, with one exception, who just seemed to accept them as people and seemed quite at home with them, and that was Gene Stapleton, who played Edith Bunker on All in the
All
Family.
in the family. Oh, that's
Edith
amazing.
Bunker? Oh, my gosh.
And he had Alice Cooper, he had John Cleese on. You could go through the list that they had on the Muppet Show, but this was the one person.
That's amazing. I need to see that clip now.
It's worth it. You'd see her. I just think that she, more than anybody else, responded to them. And that's what's going on here. Michael Caine is doing his bit as a Shakespearean actor. I don't think he had ever at any time thought they weren't Muppets.
Well, there are other human beings in that movie, and he
Right.
kind of interacts with them in the same fashion, I suppose. Like when his grandson, right, or nephew, comes in to talk to him, and he kind of talks to him the same way he talks to the Muppets.
Right?
Now, it's not the Muppets, but have you seen the clips of Robin Williams on Sesame Street?
No, I can't say that I have.
Robin Williams and Elmo
Oh, really?
might be one of the best clips you'll ever see, because there's a blooper where Robin curses and Elmo, staying in character, goes, "Oh, Mr. Robin, we can't use that take." And Robin Williams and Elmo, they know they've thrown it out. This isn't going to air. Have a 2-minute conversation about cursing on TV, and it's Robin Williams trying to get Elmo to curse. It wasn't going to be in the episode. It wasn't going to air. They
Right.
knew it was just, but Robin Williams was treating this puppet like a person. He wasn't trying to get the person handling the puppet to swear. He was trying to get Elmo to swear. Robin Williams is one of the few people who could extend reality to the point where you believed him and Elmo were having a real conversation.
You know, one of the complaints about this movie was that the music was kind of a low standard Paul Williams, although Roger Ebert wanted more songs in it. Is Ebert right, or are these songs just too forgettable?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think they worked in the context of the movie, but I couldn't start singing one right now.
The one line that we repeat all the time in our house year round is, anytime one of us has cheese, is there cheeses for the Mises? We repeat that joke all the time. But I couldn't tell you another line from that song.
No.
So that's...
I don't know. Is it from a song or is it from
I think it's just like an intro to a song.
Yeah. I can't tell you where it was in the song. There was a song around it.
The closest thing I can say is it feels like Christmas. But there's something about the lyrics of it. I think when you leave some movies, a musical, you hear a song, you come out and you remember you were singing the catchphrase or whatever the song was. It feels like Christmas, which is a nice song. I don't think that shows up in the rotation on Christmas songs. Or if it does, it's not on very often.
And to find Christmas songs that become iconic and classic, there are a lot, but there's very few from... Think of how many Christmas movies. It's probably the number one topic.
Right.
Especially when you throw the Hallmark garbage in. It's one of the most common themes would be the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah. It has gone from being that marginal thing to today... It's money in the bank. If you make a Christmas movie, you can make them cheap. They're
you know every
Hallmark,
November.
yeah, it's the same thing every time.
November and December, those royalty checks are going to start rolling in. You know that's coming.
Which kind of, I think, what it really helps the Muppets Christmas Carol is that it's just that. It's a fairly decent one. I'm going to concede that. And it's going to be one that people are going to watch because it's light, it's not harmful, and you can say, well, I'm doing a Christmassy thing because I watched a Christmas Carol done by the Muppets.
Right.
So I get that. But the music itself is not very memorable. One of the best songs I thought was the one that Belle sang.
The one that was cut?
The one that was cut. I thought it was a very pretty song, although it did sound reminiscent. Like, I don't know whether they reused it in a future movie or something like that. I can't tell you that, but it was a very pretty song, and I thought it was, it might have been the hit of the movie if they'd left it in.
I don't think any of the songs stand out as like, I'm not playing them in my car driving to work. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, there's few Christmas songs that hold up and are iconic to the point where they're going to be on your Christmas playlist.
I don't know, Christine, have you got Last Christmas on your Christmas playlist?
Yes.
How long ago was that recorded?
What was the one from Meet Me in St. Louis that is
have yourself a Merry
Merry
Little
Little
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
right?
It still shows up.
Absolutely.
But there's few films that make the iconic Christmas song, the original iconic Christmas song.
White Christmas?
Yep. But that's, okay, we picked 3.
Oh, I really wish I had more of these on hand. But there must be more. There must be, I'm sure. But maybe no, because you know what? I'm trying to think of how many Christmas movies are musicals. They tend to be more like Jingle All the Way or...
Well, do you remember that
Santa
cheesy
Claus?
Christmas movie we watched a few years ago? And it was a movie based on the song Last Christmas.
Yes.
And so now it's going the other way. They're making movies about songs.
Yeah, they're taking iconic songs and using them to
Making
make
them
movies.
Christmas movies?
And it was a
Why
bunch
are you
of cheese,
acting
but
so
so good.
surprised? They make video games.
Oh, it was great.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I was entertained.
Like, they made a movie about Lego.
A hit
Numerous.
movie.
A hit
Lego
movie.
Batman.
I don't know. Movies are not movies anymore.
Will Arnett is arguably one of the top Batmans when you argue Batman voiceovers or Batman characters. He's up there. Like
The Lego Batman.
I'll put him above Ben Affleck. And he's in the Lego one.
You know the one that feels like Christmas, which I really thought that they missed an opportunity because it was kind of cheerful, and I think it was started, if I'm not mistaken, after Scrooge left. Did he not? And with the rats and Kermit and that, it feels like Christmas, and it segued in. I would have liked to have heard Scrooge do the counterpoint to that, where they're doing all this cheerful stuff. He does the same song, maybe takes it into a minor key.
Do you think
and
Michael
starts
Caine-
talking about all how bah humbug about how terrible it is?
That would have been great.
Do you think Michael Caine can sing? That's a question there.
Well, they could dub his voice in.
Or they could do just him
Talk
speaking.
singing, yes.
Yeah, talk singing.
I think it'd be hilarious to see Michael Caine, but with Michael Jackson's voice coming out of it. It feels like Christmas. Did this movie really need Scrooge's nephew, Fred?
I have to ask this because I'm not familiar with the original.
Right.
Was his nephew in it?
Yes.
The original.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was he a key feature in the original?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. It's
Yeah.
a difficult question to answer. He is one of the reasons why Scrooge became Scrooge. What happened is he had his sister Nan, or Fan, which I guess is short for Fanny, and the Ghost of Christmas Past took him back to when Fanny died, giving birth to Fred. Mm-hmm. And he's there in the room, Scrooge is, and Fan is talking to him. She's dying, and he leaves. And by leaving, he missed hearing her ask Scrooge to take care of Fred. And what he had done since that time was basically ignored him. And
So he blamed Fred for her death,
He
kind
blamed
of.
Fred
He
for her-
basically did the same thing that his father did because his mother died. Ebenezer's mother died giving birth. So he basically did the same thing his father did, right? Because he did not hear that last request from his sister.
And it devastated. That was one of the reasons why he was devastated.
So would you say the Muppets version did it for continuity?
I think the Muppets did it because he was in the original. But the trouble is, without that backstory,
Yeah.
it was definitely watered down. I think you could both agree, listening to Phil's description of what happened, does that not sound emotional to you?
Yep. And I mean, I think he was there because, like you said, he was in the original, but it also kind of showed Scrooge's humanity a little bit in the sense that he had a family still.
Yeah.
And you really would not have seen that otherwise.
Well, this is only your second appearance. You're going to have to learn how to fold over when I tell you things in the future, Christine.
Don't do it, Christine. Don't do
I
it.
hate when the guests get score points on me.
Plus, they needed another person.
Adding another human to the mix.
You know what I would like to have seen is this, and I think it goes back to my problem with having so many Muppets in this movie, and they're trying to be cute with the Muppets. I think I would have loved to have seen this with an all-human cast, but I did love Gonzo and Rizzo doing the narration and stuff. I thought that was one of the highlights.
The gag of Gonzo pretending or thinking he's Dickens.
He's Dickens.
Yeah.
It was perfect because he could use the actual quotes in the real language, and then he
Yeah.
had Rizzo just explaining it,
Yeah.
explaining it for the kids, explaining it for people who were familiar with the story. It was a great way to keep the classic Dickensian language,
Right.
but also make it digestible for kids in 1992.
It's interesting you say that, because apparently that's the reason why they were there, so they could get Dickens' language in there as he would do the descriptions and stuff. And I thought that was effective.
It was.
And
Yep.
I didn't even mind when they were joking. You know, it's like go back to Shakespeare. There are times when there are two people talking about the action that's happening to them, and one is basically the fool.
Yeah.
So it was that similar character with Rizzo and Gonzo.
And it's one of the first times where Gonzo wasn't the fool.
yeah,
It's probably the only one I can think of where Gonzo wasn't the fool.
He's still silly, but he's not dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
Rizzo was
Both.
straight and dumb.
Yeah.
okay. They're going to go after the one thing I think that is the most glaring fault with this movie, and that is the tragic underuse of Fozzie the Bear. If you guys want to weigh in on that.
I agree. I will always vouch for more Fozzie.
Well, you got as close to Fozzie as you could when you got married. But
Oh.
I think Fozzie in the original was such a standout
right.
that they almost didn't want to tarnish it.
But hold on. Fozzie in the original. What do you mean,
Well,
Fozzie?
Fozzie was Kermit's sidekick throughout the whole original film. Kermit's not in this movie that much,
No.
especially compared to other Muppet movies. This is probably one of the movies that has the least amount of Kermit in it. So if you're going to take arguably the Muppets' main character and downsize his role, would you not then downsize the role of his sidekick?
That's a good point, Chris.
I'm going to say not necessarily. I think Fozzie could have done more with
What role would you have had Fozzie play?
No,
in it?
I think the role is correct, but they glossed over it too much.
Can I throw this out to you? What if
I would like to. You know what? I'll throw it out to me, but I would like to have seen maybe the scene where the business is failing, and what Fozzie would do under that situation, because he doesn't know what to do.
Waka waka. Yeah.
It's a rubber chicken factory. I like it. We made a rubber chicken. We made a rubber goose.
it's game changing?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Hold. Oh God. Go away. I don't want you.
Is that Doctor Who?
That is Doctor
That
Who.
is Doctor Who.
If we're going to leave this in, if we're leaving in the part where Jim's Doctor Who phone just rang, are you familiar with the Doctor Who episode?
Love it.
That version of Scrooge might be my number 2 favorite Scrooge. That might be one of not only the best Doctor Who episodes, but also one of the best inspired by Dickens
Yeah.
TV episodes.
It's completely different, yet exactly the same.
It's perfect.
It's almost like a steampunk version of a Christmas
That
Carol.
is a great way of putting it. And it's very Doctor Who, but it's also so well adapted to a formula that a TV show already has, taking the classic Christmas Carol story.
Yeah, no.
I was going to bring it up, and I'm like, how do I bring up a Doctor Who episode? Thanks, Jim. Your phone worked perfectly.
Yeah, you get the perfect
Getting
segue
back
there.
to the Fozzie, let me put this out to you. What if they had changed the role completely and Fozzie played the Ghost of Christmas Present instead of that random Muppet that they had?
I don't think it would have worked because Fozzie would have had to been making jokes the whole way, and the whole purpose of that sequence was to show him what was happening in the real world at the same time to people he was ignoring.
And I will say, I absolutely love that Muppet. The inept Muppet. Did I say that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I really, and that's the only time that Muppet's ever been there. I did like that, but I think that's, where else would you have squeezed Fozzie in?
well, like I said, I think we could have done more with that, with him losing the company, and then I've never understood, both in this one and in the original, Scrooge looked back with great love and tenderness on his time at Fezziwig's, and then proceeded to throw him into bankruptcy.
Right.
That was never explained in either movie, any things I've ever seen, that I could go, well, what changed for Scrooge to make this happen, that he could suddenly, on the one hand, looking at it in retrospect, say, oh, that was a golden time in my life, and then go, and I really wish I could put him into bankruptcy. Those two things are just non-coexistent in my head.
Was that after his girlfriend at the time left him?
Yes.
Well, then he-
oh, sorry. Yeah, I think
I
it
think
was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So I think he just was so jaded. He was. That's the
Well,
start
maybe.
of the character. This is why the whole plot line exists, right?
I also had an issue with, if you're going to go to the past portion of the film, all his schoolmates and everything, there were no Muppets.
No.
They were all people. Why did he not have some Muppets in his class? If the Muppets are supposed to be interchangeable with people, why were there not Muppets in the school?
Well, I don't think we saw much of him in the school. The original movie is sticking in my head more than the Muppets movie, which is unusual because I saw the Muppets second. But in the original one, he was there at Christmas by himself, and his sister Fan came and said, Father's changed so much to come home. It's all a love. Again, in that particular movie, it was like, why is he so mean when this happened? It should have redeemed all this stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that you watched the Muppets movie second, did you not find it a nice,
Happier,
happier,
Of a
lighter
sad story?
version? Like it was.
I think the first was Scotch and water. The second was Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid with a dash of rum.
No, I do really appreciate that in this movie, Gonzo did make a point of saying, if you enjoyed this, to read the Dickens novel. I like that. I really did think that that was a good thing that he did.
Yeah,
So-
because the movie was an homage to the story, right? So
But it once again, it goes back to the argument of this is the introduction to A Christmas Carol for most children now.
As much as I enjoyed the movie, I'm going to concede that fact. I did enjoy it, but I think the hardest thing I've had, and the hardest thing I had with anything Muppet, that sense of reality, that with living with real people and Muppets together. Can the Muppets ever coexist with reality?
I mean, I like to think so. But to me, there's
Or
nothing.
is that because you want to go home and find the Muppet landlord there at the apartment?
Yes. No, it always cracks me up when you see like a full body Muppet and they're just walking.
Yeah.
And I think it's the funniest thing because if I ever saw that in real life, I don't know what I'd do.
What about you, Chris?
It's the fantasy world we wish we lived in. It's not the real world. It goes back to my argument every time. Movies are an escape.
All right, here's
Yep.
where I will make my argument. And I'm going to make it by citing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We had a combination of cartoons and real people. But the real people didn't behave like real people. They behaved like cartoon people. They were caricatures of film noir people.
Yep.
And the result was, I bought that.
So
I don't buy that these people are relating to the Muppets.
getting back to the Muppet Show, the original concept, when real people came on, they were themselves. They were real people. They were not characters.
That's true.
That's the Muppets universe. People are real. Muppets are Muppets. It's like if we were living with aliens. Aliens came down tomorrow and took over, and we all just coexisted.
I would argue that they would coexist better if they didn't know they were Muppets. The next successful Muppet movie will not present the real world and the Muppets. It'll be one where the two can coexist.
You're trying to find logic in the Muppets universe. You'd have a
Are
better
you saying there's
chance.
something fantasy about a character that has somebody's hand up their ass? Is that what you're
Yeah,
really
you would
getting at?
have a better chance finding logic in a Marvel movie than you would trying to make the Muppets seem like a real world thing.
And that's your biggest hang up about the Muppets?
If that's your
Muppets in
biggest
general?
hang up,
Well, I think that's what's happening now is that when you see them the first time, it is such a novelty, you accept it. But as time goes on, if you really go back to the Jimmy Dean show and the character of Rolf, when he came on, it seemed real. It seemed like Rolf and Jimmy Dean, when they would do their little patter on stage, yeah, they were two characters. They were believable. And I think the problem has been highlighted by what you said about how good the original Muppet movie was, Chris. The fact that they had so many cameos. The movie wasn't good. It was interesting because they had so many cameos.
it's entertaining.
It's entertaining, but it's of limited entertainment. In rewatching that one, as I have for an earlier podcast that we've done a few years ago with Scott Falconbridge, it's one of those movies that does not stand up. You see it once, you don't need to see it again.
That's fair. I mean,
That's not true of every movie, though.
again, it goes back to like the holiday films are the ones you rewatch because it's the time of year and it's traditional. And there's other movies that like we watch every year at some point during the year. I know
Numerous times.
numerous times
Like holiday movies or just movies in general?
in general.
Okay.
Like I know in our house at some point during the year, we're going to watch Mean Girls. We're going to watch Superbad. We're going to watch The Hangover. We're going to watch...
They only have one streaming channel, and it's only got about 6 movies on it. So.
You'd be surprised. I Love You, Man. I Love You, Man is watched in our house almost
A lot.
monthly.
Yeah.
I Love You, Man?
It's that
Which one? What's
you've never
that?
seen I Love You, Man. It's
No.
a pretty good comedy.
Is it?
It's an entertaining romp. But I think this is one where I'm not going to watch this movie in July.
Well, there you go. And
But
this-
you would watch it in December, though.
Well, I know we're going to watch it again this year because Christmas Day we're going to watch it.
Yeah.
We're probably going to watch it when we put our tree up.
was there something else in play, though? Because there's no other Muppet movie where you can say that of. This movie, if there wasn't Christmas, I don't think you'd watch it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the factors as to why it's rewatched so much.
And why it's why it was such a big hit.
Let
too.
me ask you, going back to the original film,
Right.
are you going to watch it in July? Or are you going to watch it in December?
I watched it in September for this podcast. But
Okay, that out.
That aside, Jim.
That aside, when are you going to watch it?
Christmas.
Exactly.
But I would watch Muppets Most Wanted. I watch that every so often.
Yep.
For no reason. It's just a cheesy movie that's wildly entertaining.
I've turned on the odd Muppet movie to rewatch it and turned it off because I just
It sounds to me that Jim just is not liking the Muppets
no.
anymore.
You know what? I think they're stuck in the 70s. I think what they started out as
That's
there's
fair.
there's
Yep.
50 years. There's no realistic difference.
And
Yep.
I know for a fact, I almost would love to watch the Muppets movie, sit down and watch it with you.
Right.
As somebody who lived through that time. When we watch that movie, there's jokes we don't get.
Oh, there's definitely stuff that...
Absolutely, there's jokes that we don't get. That
There's
you
just
could,
pop culture references that we don't understand.
and I feel like that's
You would need Jim's expertise on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guidance.
What is it? Space Theater 3000? Is this what you're looking for?
we almost
All
need,
right, let me explain what just happened here.
we
Okay.
need pop-up video of movies, except
Yes.
it's just Jim with the remote hitting pause.
That would be actually a good episode.
I would love that.
You guys watch, the three of you watch it with together, and then
Oh, it'd be like 8 hours long.
yeah, Jim, I don't understand that reference. Can you explain that one to me?
Well, you see, in 1948,
Well, there is that. I've already done it on the previous Scrooge podcast, but I'm just curious whether you knew what the word humbug really means in this situation. But I'm going to ask it afterwards because, as I said, it's on the first movie. And, well, you know what? Let's do it again. Scrooge is known for saying "bah humbug." Do you know what humbug means?
I don't.
Nope.
No, how about you, Phil? Do you know?
Well, let's ask ChatGPT.
No, no.
This is where we need Jim with the paws of the remote to explain to
Here's
us.
the sad part of this. That goes back to the 19th century, and I am not that old. It was actually used with P.T. Barnum when he started out. He had not a circus, but he had a museum of oddities. And he had the Fiji mermaid, for instance, which was a monkey with a fish body sewed onto it.
Oh my gosh,
And
amazing.
Joyce Heth, who was 142 years old, was the nurse of George Washington. And a humbug referred to something that was a fake.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
wow.
So and he says that every time somebody
Bah
says
humbug.
Merry
Bah
Christmas.
It's a sham. It's a
So
fake.
he thinks Christmas is a sham, right?
That's
the
fantastic.
context. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that also explains why would you not serve eviction notices on Christmas? It's just another day.
Yeah.
That fits in.
See, that's where I distinguish between the Alistair Sim Scrooge and the Michael Caine one is that Scrooge didn't do it to hurt people. For him, it was just another day, and he wanted what he was due.
Right.
Caine seemed to want to hurt people.
Yeah.
He knew he was hurting somebody by not putting coal in for his people.
If
Where,
he wasn't
where Alistair Sim was trying to save the money for himself.
if he wasn't happy, why should you be?
I can make that argument. Yeah, I think so.
From a 2025 standpoint, it's like he went from being a little bit autistic to being a sociopath.
Do either one of you have any favorite credits from the rolling credits at the end? Did you ever pay attention to them?
No.
No, I did not. Oh,
I'll
boy.
be honest with you, I didn't either. But apparently, if you go down through it, Rizzo's caterer is listed.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. Okay, well, we'll have to rewatch this again.
I guess. Oh no.
A little bit of minutia here. The movie was dedicated to Jim Henson, who'd passed away, as I said,
Yeah.
but also to Richard Hunt. Anybody know who he was? If you
No.
don't, this is kind of sad, really.
No.
No, I want to say a voice actor, but I don't
You're
know.
right on the money. I guess he
Okay.
controlled puppets as well. He was Scooter and Statler.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't the original Statler in this film.
Or Waldorf, because Waldorf was done by Jim Henson.
Oh, damn.
Oh wow.
That's something.
Well, there you go. And getting back to Phil's question from the very beginning of the episode, I don't know which one Jim is more, Statler or Waldorf. But I'm trying to figure out a combination of the two.
That's amazing.
But, it's always interesting to hear who was considered for the movie roles, even though a lot of times it's just idle speculations by the producer kind of getting a little publicity. Any idea who was considered for the role of Scrooge before Michael Caine? A couple here that really fascinated me.
Was Patrick Stewart not suggested?
No.
Okay, I thought he was for this one.
I don't know.
George Carlin.
Oh my God, that would have been perfect.
He was in the original one.
George Carlin?
He was
in
in the-
1951? No.
No, not the the Muppets movie. The original
Yes.
Muppets movie in the 70s.
Yeah, he was in
Carlin
that
was
one.
in that.
Also, Jack Lemmon.
Oh, that
Oh.
also would have been great.
No. You know what?
I don't think he
He
would
would
have
have
played
been
it seriously.
so grumpy.
I don't know if he was in his dotage and was beginning to lose it. Apparently, they turned him down because he wanted to play Kermit.
Oh boy.
Which,
Would you? Okay, what version of him playing Kermit? Because are we saying he was
no,
playing
I
Kermit's
believe
role?
he wanted to be a live-action Kermit.
Painted green,
Oh my God, that would have been
making
so
out with
fun.
Miss Piggy.
Now look, I know on the face of it that sounds really dumb,
I want to see it.
but in this age where
Yeah.
cartoons are being remade as live-action features, is it really that far-fetched?
And
No.
I mean, let's be honest. In the 90s, he was on quite a roll with movies.
Yeah.
This would have been right around the time of Grumpy Old
Grumpy
Men.
old men, yeah.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I can sort of visualize him being green.
Yes,
It's kind of crazy, actually.
They wanted him to play Scrooge.
They wanted him to play Scrooge.
I think he would have been fantastic.
I don't think he would have been Michael Caine. I think he would have been fantastic. George Carlin is the one that interests me the most.
I don't know how he would
I
have
don't
played
know.
it.
I like that they got a Brit, though, honestly. I think it would have been weird if it were an American.
But
Yeah.
George Carlin might have been the one who could accept the Muppets as the Muppets, because I don't
100%.
know.
Do you know the moment the Muppets jumped the shark? Do you know the one that flopped and got a bunch of movies canceled?
No.
In 2004, they did The Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Never saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody has.
it was such a flop that they never released it in theaters. They put it directly to DVD because the studio had such little faith it was that bad.
And ironically, it sounds like exactly the kind of movie that would have worked.
Yeah.
You'd
'Cause
think.
if you had a real life Dorothy and, you know.
It was a real life. I think it was Brandy or Moesha.
Oh, yes.
I'll look
Yes.
it up. But there was a real life Dorothy, and Gonzo played the Tin Man.
Oh, no, that would be. No, I really
now
feel like.
Jim's salivating over here.
Yeah.
Like it
wants to
has
see
it
it.
has a 28 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, there's worse, but it's not good. That's not good. Last time I talked about the piece of acting advice that Michael Caine gave to Kermit the Frog. Does anybody know what he told him?
No, Michael Caine gave acting
Acting
advice to Kermit.
Yep.
No.
He said, "Don't blink." And apparently Kermit has never blinked since.
Okay.
He has that Visine put in daily.
Oh, that's perfect.
Ashanti played Dorothy. Queen Latifah played Auntie M. Quentin Tarantino as himself appeared with Kermit the Frog to discuss the violence in the Wicked Witch's role.
You can watch it on Apple TV, apparently.
Kelly
really?
Osbourne.
Yeah.
Kelly Osbourne.
Oh my gosh.
Plays a version of Dorothy.
There is a potential hit,
It ended up where a bunch of Muppet stuff was in pre-production,
right?
and just got axed.
Okay, I am just, I don't know. I may,
Maybe
this
Jim's,
may be my
maybe
Christmas-
Jim's on to
This may be
something.
my Christmas movie this year.
Boy.
I'll be back in 2 weeks for my rematch with Chris again and Mario Bernardi over the sequel to The Thin Man, 1936's After the Thin Man. And before you start going, ooh, those are old movies, you might be surprised by their reaction when I made them watch the original Thin Man movie. Check it out, and if you haven't done so already, and be prepared for another surprising episode, I'm sure. No trivia questions, but I don't think you really need one for this. So just hang on in 2 weeks and we'll talk about that. And it's so easy not to miss that episode. Just click the subscribe button. It's just that easy and you'll never miss an episode. And if you can, we'd appreciate a rating and review. It helps us reach a lot more listeners. And we're also available on, if you want to get a hold of us, balconypodcast@icloud.com. And we're also on Facebook. Look for the microphone against the red background. Where did that happen? And
Christmas
while
colors,
we're-
Jim. Christmas colors.
Red and green.
I'm really smooth at this, aren't I? 250 episodes in, and here am I still fumbling over the words of our sign-off. And while we're here, I don't usually do this, but I want to reach out to you for suggestions for movies you'd like us to do in the future or ways you think it can be better. And for us, it's something we love to do, and we'd love to attract more listeners, so any help you can give us is appreciated. A big thank you to Christine Kinahan and Chris Jarvie for doing this. Do you have any plans for Christmas?
Watching the Muppets movie.
Yeah, more
nice.
than one.
We have our 5 Christmas movies that we run through that we are going to watch on Christmas Day, and this is one of them.
What are the 5?
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
The Muppets.
Yeah.
Elf.
Elf. My personal favorite Christmas movie that you guys probably never heard of, called The Night Before. And more than likely, Die Hard.
Are there any events coming up? This is going to come out just before Christmas. That shows or events you want to share, Chris?
Every Monday and Wednesday, I'm at Nickelbrook Brewery in Burlington.
And I can tell you, having worked with Chris on many occasions and doing stand-up, he's a lot of fun. It's going to be a great time. And what about you, Phil? Do you have any plans for Christmas?
Just spending it with the family and the loved ones,
Oh, that's so sweet.
isn't it?
It is. I won't say Phil's a naughty boy, but he gets so much cold at Christmas. That's how he heats his house every winter. Meanwhile, I'm Jimmy England, and I leave you with visions of sugar plums and Back to the Balcony dancing in your head. Merry Christmas to everybody, and stay safe.